partner to see if he can start an attendance streak. I'm taking sign-ups after the meeting here. So perfect. Mike, you brought a guest today.
I do. I've got Kurt Williams back with us from Larry Bucket Chevrolet.
Welcome back.
This is his second visit. We're going to hustle and give him his love there.
Very good. Very good. And of course, we have our speakers today, and I'll give them a more formal introduction after we get rolling here. If there are no other things from the club, if we'd all please rise. Keith, would you mind giving the invocation, and I will lead us immediately after the pledge of allegiance.
All right. Bow our heads. Father, we thank you today for the blessings of our life, the great community in which we live, and all the many blessings that we get to enjoy. Thank you for a beautiful day outside. It's just great, and we thank you for that. As the springtime approaches, we're excited about that, and thank you for it. For our time together, we give you thanks for the food that we enjoy. We thank you, but most of all, we thank you for Jesus. Through him we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, folks. Please be seated. So we are fortunate to have a couple of celebrities here with us today. One you know from the TV, one you know from city council meetings. Councilman Jackson and Marlon Anderson, both native sons of Prattville, are here to talk to us today. They're going to talk to us about their foundation. Marlon and Marcus grew up together in Prattville, played Little League and shooting hoops at the courts in North Highland Park. Throughout their lives, though their lives took them different paths, their desire to serve their community kept them connected. And in 2021, this year, they founded the Marlon and Marcus Foundation to bring needed resources and opportunities to the community that made them the men who they are today. So I'm pleased to welcome to the front, Marlon and Marcus. Let's give them a round of applause.
You may not get no time if we go first.
I appreciate you guys giving us this opportunity to come out and talk to you guys about what we have going on here with this golf tournament. This is our first golf tournament, and I'm here to talk about our why. A lot of people in our community do not know that North Highland Community Center is historical significance. Many people, when I talk to them, they don't realize that Prattville Junior High School used to be North Highland High School. North Highland was the first and only school in the area for African Americans before integration. And I brought a book that Ms. Nelda Kane and Susan Cranfield put together, and they highlighted a lot of the history. They documented the minutes from the Board of Education, when it was purchased, when it was given. North Highland Park, which is situated across the street from the original site, was the first site that they had for the school. And then they saw the need to say, hey, we need to get a junior high school. So across the street, they built the building, and it burned back in 1981. And I highlighted a couple things here where the building, it burned in 81. Well, a lot of the alumni got together and said, hey, we need to do something to remember our school. So they built a small community center there, and they used that to use their own money to put that together. So you have North Highland Community Center there, but what we're looking to do is we're looking to try to build a multi-purpose facility on that site. You know, and we want to educate the community on the historical significance of this place and also of Prattville Junior High School. So that's one of the reasons why we put together this golf tournament, to bring awareness to North Highland and its importance to our community, because it means so much, not to the African American community, but to all of us, because all of us, you know, went through there, we went through the junior high school, so it means so much more, and it's bigger than just the African American community. It's a part of who we are in Prattville, and so we think it's significant and important that we highlight North Highland. So I have this book, like I said, Nelda Kane, she worked in the school system for years. Her husband, Malcolm Kane, everyone knows them well. And Ms. Cranfield, they did an excellent job putting this together. And I would, anyone, if you would like to see this or get a copy of this. I mean, it's amazing. And up until about 4 years ago, I did not know the history. I had no clue that Prattville Junior High School was North Highland. It was amazing. So, and I try to tell it, I've given away probably about 10 of these. Every time I meet someone, I'm like, you need to see this. And so I give them out. And if anyone would love a copy of this, feel free to ask me and I'll get you a copy. But I think it's so important that we recognize our history, In order for us to progress and move forward, it's so important that we recognize and embrace it and move forward. But North Highland, like I said, they have a spot there now, but they have about 6 acres that we're looking to try to build a multi-purpose facility there. And what we would like to do is have programming similar to what you guys have here. And I've talked to David and Jennifer in the past and said, hey, look, if we get a facility, would you guys be willing to partner with us? Because matter of fact, when the pandemic hit, I reached out to the Y and they set up 2 sites in my district, North Highland and Spring Hill. And David and Jennifer and I, we toured North Highland and they were like, wow, we had no clue you guys they had a facility like this up here. So, like I said, it's important to us, and then to me it's about partnership. It's not that we want to take anything, we're just trying to add, because our young people need it. Being in the city, we hear people complain about kids and what they're doing. I get a call from an old lady because this young man bounced the ball in her flower bed. Can you come and tell them to remove the basketball off the side of the street? I get those calls all the time. So if we have a safe place in this community for our kids, I think it's important. We want a facility where, similar to this, we want classrooms, we want a gym with multiple courts. We want the arts, if we have a dance studio. We're looking to add a facility like that to enhance our community and to develop the young people in our community, because it's important. It's way too important. And I'm a problem solver. We can complain and point, and they're the problem, we need this, they need to stop. But if we don't give them what they need to be successful, then that falls on us. And I think it's important that we push this venture, and that's why we're here today. So I'll bring Marlon up. Y'all probably tired of me, but we'll bring the superstar over here.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me today. And we're talking just to add to what Marcus is talking about. One thing about me and Marcus is we've grown up. Marcus is actually my cousin, and we've grown up since this. I don't remember a time in my life where I didn't know when to spend time with Marcus on a consistent basis. But for us in this, and we're getting to this venture now, but even as teenagers, even as we left Prattville and went to college and went our separate ways, and me having my career and the things that Marcus has been doing, we've always talked about it, and we've always known that this was our project to do. Coming back here and being a part of this community that, for us, it taught us the values that we have, and I think Marcus hit on it, the safe space. We had a safe space growing up. Our community took care of us. I can remember as the guy who was playing baseball, getting ready to go off to college on a scholarship, and there were people in the community, guys my same age, guys maybe a little bit older than me, that knew I was getting ready to go or whatever, and nothing I was going to do to get in trouble. They wouldn't let anybody bring anything around me. They protected me because they knew that this guy had a chance of being able to get out, leave here, go do something and make a significant difference in our community and what he's going to do in the world. So for me, I appreciate that, but we had that safe space. Up at North Highland, what Mark is talking about, the park across the street, we played in that park consistently all the time or whatever. I went up there sometimes where, there was a certain group of guys playing or whatever, and I knew I wasn't going to be in this game today. I'll be watching today, but I wasn't, because I wasn't good enough. It was the older kids, it was the guys who were way more athletic than I was. They were going to take up this side of the court, and I was going to be watching today. And I was okay with that. But, we were talking a little bit earlier, we were talking about Coach Wasden. As I came through high school, Coach Wasden was an influential person in my life. Coach Lambert was an influential person in my life. And I tell people, having that safe space and that place to go, I had that safe space, but as Marcus said, I was not the smartest kid. I was not the most athletic kid. I wasn't the one that was a no-miss, whatever. I wasn't physically fit to be able to do. I tell them that I have more determination to not fail than anybody. And one thing that I can remember as a kid, and as I think about this center and this place that we have, it's a place, a safe place we can have the kids, and a place that we can teach them how to dream. I had a huge dream. You know, I'll never forget, I was 10 years old, and I never ever told anybody that I wanted to do anything besides play Major League Baseball. From the time that I was 10. And I was bold. They would ask and I would say it. It wasn't because I'd seen somebody from our town that had done it before, that I knew somebody personally that had done it before. It was a dream that God put in my heart that I had, that I knew that that's what I was going to do. And, you know, we were talking about one of my teammates in high school, and a guy that I grew up playing against in Dixie Youth with, that didn't make it. Well, Mike Smith was twice the athlete that I was. You know, Cozell Albright, he was twice the athlete that I was. But I did it with some kind of determination from somewhere I got, the people that groomed me and taught me, you know. I grew up down in the country on 80, my great-grandfather's 80 acres of land, where I got up in the mornings, on Saturday mornings, on the weekend, and we went out in the field and we helped my great-grandfather work. Like, it's a determination, it is a hard work that I got from getting out there and doing that helped make me into who I am. I always like to tell the stories like, I may be on TV playing or whatever, I may be doing this, but it's like, I come from the dirt road. That's who I am. I come from the dirt road in Prattville. That's who I am at my core. But this project for me is a way of tapping back into the community that needs it at this time. You know, again, we can, you know, always say people, they may not need it, they may not want it or whatever, but I feel like I've been given a lot in my life. I've had a blessing to be able to do some things, and to who much is given, much is expected. And I think this collaboration with Marcus is something for me at the core of who I am. And coming back here, it makes me happy. It literally calms me down knowing that I can come here and talk about this and ask for support. I'll give a little bit of background as far as my playing days go. When I left here in Prattville, I went to University of South Alabama. Played there for 3 years. I was an All-American after 3 years. I got drafted by the Philadelphia Phillies in 1995. After being drafted, I went to the minor leagues, sped through there, went through there. I guess I was in the minor leagues for about 3 years before getting my debut with the Philadelphia Phillies. My first at bat in the big leagues, somebody was talking about seeing it the other day. I was one of those few guys in the big leagues that actually hit a home run in his first at bat. And people ask about your memory and how your memory works. And so I've had some moments in Major League Baseball that stand out to me, and I always think about how my memory works with those things. And I can literally remember the count, how I fouled off the first ball, how I took 2 balls, how I swung through the ball. And the second one, so it's a 2-2 count, and I stepped to the plate, and I remember thinking in my mind, I stepped out, just like yesterday, I'm thinking like people in Prattville were watching, everybody I know is watching this. And the litter's like, it's like, I cannot strike out in my first at bat. That's all I'm thinking. You can't embarrass yourself on TV like this. And I step back in the box, and again, I'm a fighter. I'm scrappy. I do all those little things. Choke up on the bat like we used to do back in the day, which nobody does now, so it can't get me. But choke up on the bat, and I step in the box, and I literally like, okay, I can't strike out. And my job was trying to make contact. And I was just like, okay, I'm make contact. You swung, hit, bam, the ball goes over the fence. I hit a home run in my first at bat. Now, that's where it starts. It's great, hit a home run. I can't remember my feet ever touching the ground after leaving home plate. It's literally like I was floating around, get there, get the home plate. That to be said, like again, like I knew it was a moment for me. And just like that first moment, every time that I'm somewhere that I'm doing something, I feel like I'm representing Prattville, the city of Prattville, in everything that I do. And for me, that's the fun part about being able to do some of the things I'm doing and having a part to where I played 12 years in the big leagues. You know, I played for 6 different teams. I played for managers, you know, I played for Larry Bowe, I played for Tony La Russa, Willie Randolph, I played for Frank Robinson, played for, you know, I feel like I've been blessed enough to be able to have gone out and played for some great managers, some great players, Hall of Fame players. I played with Tom Glavine, played with Greg Maddox, I played with Albert Pujols, and you know, Delgado, and Carlos Beltran. Jimmy Rollins was my team, and I trained him in the middle infield in the big leagues when I first got there. But these are relationships and things that I made throughout this journey that right now, as me and Marcus venture in our foundation, and we're starting our golf tournament, you know, this is a list of the guys that are partnering with us, and they've already told me, yeah, you have an event, okay, I'll be there, I got your back, or whatever, I'll protect you. It's about relationships. you know, and I come back now, Marcus is here as a councilman, and he has plenty of relationships all in this room and around this city and whatever. I'm the guy that left Prattville or whatever and did good, and now I'm coming back home, but it's still about relationships. These guys are agreeing to come back and to help us to fundraise and help us to do what we need to do to be able to give back to my community that raised me and gave me the opportunity to do some of the things and travel the world like I've been able to do and raise my kids like I've been able to do. So, you know, for me, this is at the core of who I am as a person, is giving back to the community that raised me. And, you know, I appreciate you guys allowing me to come here and talk and express that and just kind of really try to get as many people on board of just, you know, being a part of it in whatever aspect, in whatever way that you choose. But for me, it's really about the kids who I know sometimes things are bad for, but I want to reach that kid that was not like me, that had everything, had the family, was out on the land and did it. I want to help that kid that comes in, can't quite get the work done. He may be an athlete, but he can't get the grades or whatever. I want to offer that tutoring for him. I want to offer that safe space for him that if he needs to learn how to take the ACT or the SAT or what, I want to give people in the community access to things that they don't have right now. And I want to try to fill in the gaps for the same way people filled in the gaps and protected me and helped me to get to where I am. I want to do those same things for my community now. So with that, I guess we'll turn it back over. I don't know. Anybody's got any questions or talk about baseball stuff or whatever? I tell people all the time, like, I love talking about the baseball stuff because I got to live a phenomenal life and do some traveling. I played in the World Series with the Cardinals. I've you know, it's just one of those things that I look at and I think about it and I'm amazed by it, but it's not who I am as a person, it's what I did. And at the core, I feel like I'm just like, again, that guy from Prattville that was able to make it go off and do some stuff, and now it's back here to help. So.
What's the goal for raising money at this term? How much do you guys want to raise?
Each term, I think this is a starting point. This is our first foundational thing for the foundation. And we're going to have blueprints of the building that we're building. We don't know the exact price of the building until those blueprints are done. But each tournament is we're trying to max out. We have the sponsorships on there. We're trying to raise as much in every function that we have. It's going to go toward it. The price of the building is really going to come down to how many phases we have and what the total. I told Marcus from the beginning, I want to put $1 million complex facility there that's able to be run yearly. It's not going to happen in 1 year, I understand that, but I'm not going to look to build later. I want to start off with my mindset as a $1 million complex that we're going to build it. But I don't know the exact terms of which each term is going to give. We have the sponsorship, which is, again, the goal is this is not a one-time event. You know, if it takes us 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it takes for us to build that facility, we're here long-term to be a part of that. We're not going anywhere. And even when the facility is built, we're still raising money to run it. You know, we have grant writers to help us to, you know, pull in different things from the state and federal that fund. I know it is Microsoft and Apple. They have programs going now for grants for computers and for building up your Wi-Fi capabilities and things in facilities that you have. So there's a lot of thought that's going into what it is we want to do and how we want to do it. But we're looking to build $1 million facility on that spot out there.
Once you get the building built,
Yes.
how the funds gonna come in? Or you don't have personnel there, it's gonna be on payroll.
Yes.
Where's the funds gonna come in for those?
That's part of the continual fundraising and also the grants that are out there. Once you have a facility, there's grants for running nonprofit organizations in places like that, especially in underserved communities. And we're gonna tap those resources as ways also. But the fundraising for me is never gonna stop. But as long as it's open, it's always gonna be fundraising and things we're gonna do to help generate money. Because the last thing that I'm gonna wanna be a part of is something that's gonna be built and not maintain and run. Like it's just not how I think, it's not how I am. And again, like it's a continual thing that, you know, I'm hoping as we build the buzz and everything gets going, that as the community takes on, there's somebody in the community right now, and we haven't tapped that person there, we may not even know who that person is, that's gonna be the person who is gonna run this thing the way it's supposed to. It's gonna be that director who's gonna run the day in and day out. And we don't know that person yet, but as we move forward, that person's gonna come around. And I want it to be somebody with a connection to the community who has a heart for it in the right way to be able to run it. So you you can make sure you keep things on track with that.
You played football for Coach Watson?
Yes, I did. I was a freshman, Coach Watson's first year coming over and taking over in Prattville. So I got those early years before we got perfected. But I was, Eddie Gibbs was my guy. I was a defensive guy, so Eddie Gibbs was my guy. And I'll tell you.
How did you ever make this brother?
I tell you because he's a tough son of a gun. And he's one of those people that, looking back, it's where I get my edge and my toughness from. Again, like, I'm not the biggest, strongest, whatever, but for me to do the things I know, I knew I had to have an edge. And that edge I know came from playing under Eddie Gibbs for all those years and just watching him go about it. And, you know, I thank those guys for not only, you know, coaching and giving us, but they set a tone for the change of athletics in Prattville. And it's appreciative that they set that tone like that and set that foundation for other people to be able to take it and run with it later on.
Any other questions?
On your golf tournament, is it just an individual tournament, or you have teams, or?
We're gonna have teams. We have it planned out. Again, I frequent these events all the time, and what we want to do is the celebrities and the athletes that are coming in to play. We wanted to have where you have a 3-man team that you bring in, and we put an athlete with you. On things like that, you go out, and I've had some of my funnest times playing in events like this because you get to know the people intimately. You get to talk baseball stories. You get to whatever it is, and the guys love coming to do it because you get to meet and make contacts. For me, I've made a lot of business contacts through these type of events, and people that are actually friends with me now today because I've gone to events like this. Every team that I played for, we always had events like this, and now that guys like me they're starting foundations and having things like you're always looking for players to come and former players that you respect because you want the good upbuilding stories for baseball. But we're going to have a format of 3-man teams with a celebrity player with you. And 4-man scramble, you know, we'll have the gifts and the swag bags and all that kind of stuff. That, you know, it's first class. I've taken a lot of lessons from guys who've been doing this for a while. I've been going to Brian Jordan, the Braves, his event for the last 4, 5, 6 years. I go to his place. It's up at Shadow Lawn up north of Atlanta. I don't know if anybody's heard of there. Reggie Sanders, one of the guys who's coming, he has an event every year. So, even with Major League Baseball and the Players Association, who I'm still associated with, they have events that we do, golf tournaments and things. I've actually been blessed to be able to play some pretty awesome courses. You know, we played Pebble one year. It's again, like this, the trip that I've been on throughout has been pretty awesome. And, you know, trying to take some of the good and the bad from all those places and come back here and put on a first class production is what we're looking to do.
So how's your golf swing compared to 2020?
It's not, actually, it's the exact same, and that's my problem.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 2 different swings.
It's very similar, but I tell people all the time, I play so much, but it's something that I know I'll never be good at. I always go out there and I'll enjoy it or whatever, and I'll go out there and have that day where I'm consistent, and I'll shoot in the 80s or whatever, and then I'll go out there and I'll shoot in, 110. So I'm just like the rest of everybody else.
Any other questions? Let's give them both a round of applause. Well, gentlemen, thank you for giving back to our community. And like Marcus mentioned, you've got to make sure that we give folks the resources and the path to be successful. And if we didn't as a community, then we have failed them. They have not failed us. So I would be proud to be associated with any outfit that is working on that. So the Marlon and Marcus First Annual Celebrity Golf Classic, May 10th and 11th, 2021 at the RTJ, Capitol Hill in Prattville. Sponsorship started at $100. Individual golfers start at $250, and it sounds like you bring a 3-man team and you get to play with a celebrity. So that sounds cool. I'm a terrible golfer. I usually just drink the cold beverages. So,
Lemonade.
So if you get anything from me, it'll be a donation in lieu of my deplorable golf swing. Anything else for the group? Then let us all rise and close with the 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, folks. Look forward to seeing y'all next week.